Two things before we start today. First, a few people have asked me what is going on with the macOS Ken app for iOS. I do not know. After years of clear sailing, the most recent update was rejected by the App Store review folks. I'm told it's being worked on. When I hear more, I will let you know. Thing number two. There was a story all over the Apple News interweb yesterday about an Apple TV Plus show that is probably a spoiler for that show. I would like for you to be able to hear this show spoiler-free, so after this show is over, there will be one more thing. Right. Where's the ignition?
This is macOS Ken.
Pre-orders announced for Apple Watch, iPhone and App Store business, and remembering Steve Jobs 10 years later. It is Tuesday, the 5th of October, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Notion. One workspace for your startup. Get up to $1,000 off at notion.com/startups. This show is also sponsored by Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. What would you do if you didn't have high-interest loans or credit card debt? With Upstart, you can pay off your existing debt quickly and easily and start doing whatever that is. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get a simple, fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart looks at more than just your credit score, factoring in income and current employment. You can check your rate without impacting your credit score in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000, and you can receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/macOSKen. UPSTART. That's upstart.com/macOSKen. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/macOSKen. If you're looking to upgrade to an Apple Watch Series 7, see you bright and early Friday morning. Apple issued a press release Monday saying that the next version of the wearable will go up for pre-order this Friday, the 8th of October, at 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific. You know, that really is a terrible time for lots of people. I know, Tim Cook's up and at him at 4 in the morning. Whatever. If you're interested in the new watch, you can probably remember a lot of what Apple said about it at last month's California streaming event. Summing up some of what Apple said about it that day, it'll come in 2 bigger displays, 41mm and 45mm, featuring 20% more screen area than the Series 6. That extra space accommodates a full keyboard for text entry, bigger buttons in apps for greater ease of use, and a few new faces that should really fill that screen. Series 7 boasts 18-hour battery life on a single charge, with faster charging as well, 33% faster compared to Series 6, according to Apple. At rest, the always-on display is brighter, up to 70% brighter indoors than Series 6. It comes in new colors, 5 aluminum case finishes, including Midnight, Starlight, Green, a new blue, and Product Red. And, contrary to pre-announcement rumors, the new watches will be compatible with existing bands. Prices stay the same. Apple Watch Series 7 starts at $399, according to the company. That is the same starting price as last year's 40mm Series 6, with no cellular connection. Pre-orders start this Friday in 50-plus countries, including Australia, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Japan, Mexico, Russia, South Korea, the UAE, the UK, and the US. I am really hoping they do that thing where you can set up your order before Friday morning. If I hear anything, I'll let you know. Things are still going gangbuster for iPhone 13, so says JP Morgan analyst Samik Chatterjee. Apple Insider had a look at a note he wrote wherein he said demand for the latest communicator looks robust and healthy, not that supply chain issues don't have some part to play. Quoting his note, while the elevated lead times in iPhone 13 over iPhone 12 are likely largely driven by the supply constraints, the demand indicators still appear robust, and most importantly, better than consensus investor expectations for tepid demand relative to upgraders and switchers heading into the launch. Because nobody gets Apple like him. Mr. Chatterjee has an overweight rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $180. Apple is eating the extra cost of iPhone 13. That's the impression Cult of Mac gets from a Tech Insights report. The Cult has the analytics firm indicating that the cost to build this year's iPhone 13 Pro is $22.50 more than last year's iPhone 12 Pro. Tech Insights says that's due to the higher estimated cost for the A15 processor, NAND memory, the display subsystem price, and an increase in the main enclosure cost. The way they see it, the price has actually gone up from iPhone 11 Pro to iPhone 12 Pro, and again from 12 Pro to 13 Pro. And yet, the starting price for each model has stayed $999. Thus, does Apple eat the extra cost? Though they do find other ways to make it back. Apple Care Plus would certainly be one way, and the App Store, holy cow, is that rigging it in. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note from Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani on Monday. According to the analyst, App Store revenue growth came in at 18% in the final month of the quarter, which brings the growth rate to roughly 19% for the September quarter, according to data from Sensor Tower. The growth comes despite limits on Chinese gaming that may have impacted revenue from the country. China is a bit murky. While Daryanani points to limits on gaming as one reason for slowing revenue growth, he also points to tough compares between last month and the same month a year earlier. According to the analyst, the actual revenue growth for China of $1.3 billion is flat on a month-over-month basis, which indicate the gaming situation has had a limited impact. He wraps his note saying the App Store continues to perform well, and the 19% growth for the quarter should be sufficient to deliver some upside to services estimates. He's got an outperform rating on Apple shares and a price target of $180. New watches on the way, iPhone's doing well, App Store's doing well. So why did Apple shares get clobbered on Monday? Interesting question. I saw one article say that Apple got dragged down with the market, though I saw another that seemed to indicate that the market got dragged down by Apple. A piece I saw from the Motley Fool says Apple's particular decline seems directly traceable to an article that ran in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. Citing that report, the Fool says in 2019 alone, reports the paper, Apple recorded $8.5 billion in operating profit for game sales, more than was earned by Microsoft, Nintendo, Activision Blizzard, and Sony combined. One source told the Journal that Apple's App Store operating profit margins could be as high as 75%, and boy, will stories like this feed developer and regulator animus against Apple. According to the Fool, the Journal furthermore points out that because just 6% of App Store game customers in 2017 accounted for 88% of all the store's game billing for the year, and almost 31% of gaming revenues come from China, while 26% was in the US. Apple's gaming revenues and profits could be at risk in their two most important markets. Smell something fishy around an app in the App Store? You've now got a place to report it. Engadget says, as part of iOS 15, the latest App Store update lets you report a scam or fraud for free apps, in-app purchases, and paid apps, provided you've installed the app in question. The piece says this goes beyond the former report a problem option. Quoting the report again, you can now signal a scam or a fraud and not just report suspicious activity, report a quality issue, request a refund, or find my content as before. Previously, you would have also needed to make an in-app purchase before you could highlight a scam or fraud, but that is no longer the case. If you're wondering how to do it, it looks like you find the potentially offending app in the App Store, scroll to the bottom of its page in the store, tap the Report a Problem option, sign in with your Apple ID, and after that, I'm really not sure. I didn't want to go any further because I didn't want to accidentally rat out an app that didn't deserve it. More news in a moment, but first a word from Notion. One workspace for your whole startup. I've got a friend who works at a small business. Not a startup exactly, but they've got startup issues. Among them, silos. Sort of. Some people are working on one project while overseeing other projects. While they know what's going on in their heads, no one can look at what's happening with each team simultaneously. As a matter of fact, that has caused problems. They could use Notion. Notion is an all-in-one team collaboration tool that combines note-taking, document sharing, wikis, project management, and much more into one space that is simple, powerful, and beautifully designed. For startups, Notion can provide a full-on operating system for running every aspect of your company, keeping everyone aligned as you grow fast and take on more. Interested? Want to find out more? Notion is running a special offer just for startups. Get up to $1,000 off Notion's team plan by going to notion.com/startups. To give you a sense, that is almost a year of free Notion for a team of 10. Again, that's notion.com/startups to receive up to $1,000 in free credit to use Notion with your team. That's up to $1,000 value when you go to notion.com/startups. More Apple gear is aging out. Mac Rumors ran a piece Monday saying that the third generation Apple TV and Apple's own AA battery charger have landed on the company's vintage products list. Well, they will land there on Halloween. Introduced in 2012 and discontinued in 2016, the third-generation Apple TV is the last of the device not to support tvOS. The battery charger was also discontinued in 2016. Introduced in 2010, Mac Rumors says the Apple battery charger was priced at $29 and included 6 rechargeable AA batteries for use with the original Apple wireless keyboard, Magic Trackpad, and Magic Mouse for the Mac. Of course, those devices are now sealed, recharging through the power of lightning. The difference between vintage and obsolete has to do with the time after production. Vintage products are those that have been out of production more than 5 years, but less than 7. Apple still offers service for vintage devices, provided it has the parts to do so. Peanuts holiday special news. First, it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown is headed back to broadcast television for one night only. You may remember the furor, the uproar last year when Apple obtained the rights to the Peanuts catalog, landing Charlie Brown Halloween Thanksgiving, and Christmas specials behind the Apple TV Plus paywall. And there was much wailing and gnashing of teeth until Apple did a deal with PBS to put them back on air. Now a piece from Apple Insider says they are doing that again. According to the report, It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown will air on PBS on Sunday, the 24th of October at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central. It is advised that you check your local listings to find out when to tune in. Of course, you can catch The Great Pumpkin year-round on Apple TV+, along with the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, a Charlie Brown Christmas, Happy New Year Charlie Brown, and others. What's that? You have never heard of Happy New Year Charlie Brown? Neither had I until I went looking for the others. I will say, though, it will go nicely with the new New Year's Eve peanut special that Apple is producing. Deadline has word of For Auld Lang Syne, a production from WildBrain Studios that's part of Apple's Peanuts package. Regarding the new special, Deadline says after the Peanuts gang experience a disappointing Christmas because Grandma can't visit, Lucy resolves to throw herself the best New Year's Eve party ever, while Charlie Brown struggles to accomplish just one of his resolutions before the clock strikes 12. The special will debut on December 10th, according to the report. Kudos for a couple of Apple execs. 9to5Mac says Apple Senior VP of Retail plus People Deirdre O'Brien and Apple VP Environment, Policy and Social Initiatives Lisa Jackson have both climbed on Fortune's list of the 50 most powerful women. In O'Brien's move from 29th on the list last year to 27th this year, Fortune highlights her efforts on Apple's return-to-work plans and her in-store changes, focusing on quick pickup areas and fostering young creatives. In Jackson's move from 35 to 33 on the list, Fortune highlights pushes to reduce Apple's packaging, as well as the $200 million Restore Fund she took charge of in April. You can read a little more about both and check out the full list on the Fortune site. And finally today, the web will be papered today with remembrances of Apple co-founder and former CEO Steve Jobs. It was 10 years ago today, one day after the announcement of iPhone 4S, that Jobs passed away due to pancreatic cancer. Former Apple Chief Design Officer Johnny Ive wrote a piece about Jobs published yesterday by the Wall Street Journal, which I have not yet read. Might read that today, along with what I'm sure will be countless articles about the force the man was and the hole that he left. Just before I came in to record, I checked Apple's website. That has been turned over to a short film called Celebrating Steve, as well as a statement from Jobs' family. Even at under 3 minutes, the film is inspiring. The words from his family are sweet. I encourage you to head to apple.com and check both out today. Jobs died on a Wednesday, the day I used to produce macOS Can Live. 10 years ago tonight, we got together the way we normally did for a show that was anything but normal. I haven't listened to it since that night, but it is still out there, as is the macOS Ken from the next day. That is filled with post after post from people marking Jobs' passing, from then President Obama to other Silicon Valley execs, to a statement from Apple, and from Jobs' own family. I have only listened to part of that since that day. I would imagine they sound rough, but they are also what happened when it happened. If you would like to hear them, I've got links to both of those shows up at macosken.com. In the menu, look for the heading, Remembering Steve Jobs. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Upstart. Fair and fast personal loans. Learn more and check your rate at upstart.com/macOSCan. This show is also sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your startup. Get up to $1,000 off at notion.com/startups. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.
Are they gone? Okay. I know I said spoiler alert before, but now I will tell you what I'm trying to not spoil. It's Ted Lasso, the second season of which ends Friday. You can stop listening now or suffer the apparent spoilage. I should do every story like that. Musical interlude if you don't want to hear the latest price target on Apple shares. Okay, maybe not every story. Anyway, here is the spoiler story. The Apple TV Plus series Ted Lasso has signed a deal with English Premier League, either ahead of the Season 2 finale or headed into Season 3, or both. According to a piece from my Download blog, the agreement gives the company the rights to show archival footage of past games, the English Premier League Championship Trophy, and, perhaps most importantly, depending on how things go for the show's football club, English Premier League club logos. The report says that the licensing deal is worth upwards of £500,000. My currency exchange app tells me that puts it around $680,000. Now, this might not be a spoiler for next season. The team at the center of the show, AFC Richmond, was relegated in Season 1, which saw them bounced from the Premier League to the Championship League. The team is looking to claw its way back into the Premier League, so certainly this deal could add to the show's realism. But the piece says this is actually a deal that they have sought with Premier League since before it began. It's only the popularity of the Apple TV Plus series that has made the league warm to the idea. The way iDownload blog sees it, the licensing deal should open the door quite a bit for the Ted Lasso universe to feel more like an actual team in the real world. Not that that hasn't been an issue up to this point, but including the English Premier League just makes a lot of sense. How am I supposed to end this? Oh, I know.